is your host, Ariane Mayweather. And on this episode, we are going to talk about fathers because guess what? Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the amazing dads out there who just are selfless and lead their family with a God-given confidence that only you can, and love your children to a level of this can only be God. You know what I'm saying? And those fathers out there that get up every day, go to work, raise kids, be the best husband so that their kids have a blueprint to follow when they become adults, whether they be sons and they grow up and say, I want to be just like my dad, or whether they are young ladies and they say, I'm going to marry a man just like my dad. Happy Father's Day to you guys. And I love you, love you, love you. And the world wouldn't be the same if we didn't have men. So thank you, Lord, for the dads and their awesomeness. And I will say, ever since my father died, Father's Day was hard for me. It just was. And the first Father's Day was the absolute worst. And it's okay. It was bad. But thank God for my brothers, and thank God for God. And if you are a believer of God and you understand death and life, and I know how much my dad loved me, so there's no way that I should have preceded him in death. This is the natural order of things. Our parents grow up and they, from the dust they came, the dust they shall return. And it just is the natural cycle of life. But while I had him here, it was the ultimate best experience ever. And I reflect so much on the things that he said to me and taught me and how he led me. And I'm forever grateful to God that he saw fit to give me the dad that I have and the parents that I have, because, we choose our parents, and for whatever reason, God was like, Ariane, you need these two people. And you know what? You're going to mess up in life. So you need to be able to reflect back on the things your father taught you so that you can move forward and raise awesome daughters. So we are going to just talk about the awesomeness of Father's Day, its statistics, and the things, maybe some Snapple fun facts that you may or may not know about Father's Day. Thought it'd be fun, cheeky, loving, wholesome. And I will say this to you bitches out there, and I said it, that are on some happy Father's Day to me too, because I'm a single mama. Okay, Einstein, who effing told you to be a single mom? Why did you choose to carry before you married? And I say that to say, you chose that. And just because you are now a single mom and maybe for whatever reason the father is not involved, or he is involved, or he ain't with you, so you feel like you're a single mother. Let's break it down like this. If you were married before and you are now divorced, you're not a single mom. You are a divorced woman with kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're not a baby mama. If your ex-husband or the father of your children is not with you because for whatever reason y'all not together, but he is active in your child's life, you're not a single mom. You are just a woman who is unmarried and you co-parent with someone. You are not a single mother. If you're divorced, you're just a divorced woman who co-parents with your ex-husband because you all couldn't see eye to eye. So no, you don't get a fucking happy Mother's Day. Now, if you were one of those broads that had a one night stand or had a baby or whatever the case may be, and you don't know your baby father is, again, that's on you. You chose that lifestyle. And you know why you chose that lifestyle? Because you decided to have sex unprotected with a man that you didn't know. And then you had that child. You had the baby. And now here you are, mad. And on Father's Day, you're like, happy Father's Day to all the single mothers out there. That is diabolical. And that is nonsense. And that is crazy. and you're not. And I know we do a lot of the, I guess, how can I say, uh, we do this thing where mothers, for instance, continuously want praise on things that have nothing to do with them, or because they have been their own detriment, and you want praise for that. You're not getting it. Let's let the fathers have their day. And I think it's only right that you take accountability and understand that maybe your kid can't celebrate their dad on Father's Day because of you and your choices. And if that man is around and you are not allowing your child to be in their father's life because of you, maybe you should stop that shit and let that man see his children and quit trash talking so that he can have a great Father's Day. Now, to all the wives out there who do a lot of the housework and hold things down while the dad is gone, or whatever the case may be, you're in a household with your husband, and you guys are raising these kids together, and you just feel like you do majority of the child rearing, majority of the housework. It's okay, babes. It's quite okay, but it's still not your day. It is Father's Day. And I say, let that man be with his kids today. You celebrate him by leaving him to his fatherhood and the kids, and you leave and you step out the way, and maybe you go do a Target run, Ross, TJ Maxx, Home Goods run, or go get your nails and stuff done, and make sure you make him a great breakfast, you and the kids. Y'all serve him like the king that he is, and you leave him to his fatherhood on Father's Day. Because guess what? On Mother's Day, we never stop being a mom. It is 24/7, 365. So on Father's Day, he should not stop being a dad. Give that man his kids 24/7, 365. So you can enjoy your day and he can enjoy his Father's Day. Like, why not? So Father's Day, I looked this up on Wikipedia. Father's Day, United States, is an annual holiday honoring people's fathers and celebrating fatherhood, paternal bonds, and the influence of fathers in society. It was first proposed by Sonora Smart Dot of Spokane, Washington in 1909. It is currently celebrated in the United States annually on the third Sunday in June. Here's another Snapple fun fact about Father's Day. It tends to land on my birthday, 2 days before my birthday, or a day after my birthday, which is kind of weird. So I remember when I first met Ken, probably, I think the first year of our marriage, Father's Day was on my birthday. And I felt bad because I'm like, it's my birthday, but it's Father's Day. So how do we celebrate you and then my birthday at the same time? Because yes, he is a dad, but he is also my girl's stepdad, and he is the best bonus dad of the century. And in the words of Ashana, we were talking about stepdads, and she was talking about one of her friends and their stepdad, and she was like, yeah, because I told her, oh yeah, your stepdad is the stepdad of the year. He should get an award. I said, well, actually, Ashana, your stepdad is the man, and he is like the bonus dad of the century. And she was like, listen, Kendall knows what it is. What's understood don't got to be stated. He knows he's the best dad ever. And it made me and Ken giggle and laugh, and it just brought a smile to my heart, because I'm so happy that I married a man that is getting the full, I guess, experience of Father's Day and fatherhood with my girls. And God bless him, God love him, because my girls are a handful. And I mean that from a perspective of they're lively and they're loud and they're wild, and they love him truly because he loves them. So yeah, that's on that. So history of Father's Day. Father's Day was inaugurated in the United States in the early 20th century to be complemented by Mother's Day in celebrating fathers, fathering, and fatherhood. Father's Day was founded, again, Spokane, Washington, at the YMCA in 1910, again by Sonora Smart Dot, who was born in Arkansas. Its first celebration was in Spokane at the YMCA on June 19th, 1910. So it looks like this lady wanted to celebrate her father, and he raised her. He was a veteran from the Civil War. He raised her and his other 5 children, so total 6 children. And after hearing about a sermon, Anna Jarvis, on Mother's Day, at a Central Methodist church in 1909. She told her pastor that fathers should have a similar holiday honoring them. Although she initially suggested June 5th, her father's birthday, the pastors of the Spokane ministry weren't prepared, so they scheduled it to the third Sunday of June. It did not have much success initially in the 1920s. Dot stopped promoting the celebration because she was studying at the Art Institute of Chicago, and it faded into relative obscurity, even in Spokane. In the 1930s, Dodd returned to Spokane and started promoting the celebration again, raising its awareness at a national level. She had the help of those trade groups that would benefit most from the holiday. For example, the manufacture of ties, tobacco pipes, and traditional presents to fathers. Since 1938, she had helped the Father's Day Council, founded by New York Associated menswear retailers, to consolidate and systemize the holiday. Americans resisted the holiday at first, perceiving it as just an attempt by merchants to replicate the commercial success of Mother's Day, and newspapers frequently featured cynical and sarcastic attacks and jokes. Wow, that's awful. But the trade groups did not give up. They kept promoting it and even incorporated the jokes into their adverts. That's funny. And they eventually succeeded. By the mid-1980s, the Fathers Council wrote, "Father's Day has become a second Christmas for all the men's gift-oriented industries." A bill to accord national recognition of the holiday was introduced into Congress on 1913. In 1916, President Woodrow Wilson went to Spokane to speak at Father's Day celebration and wanted to make it official, but Congress resisted. Wow. Fearing that it would become commercialized, U.S. President Calvin Coolidge recommended in 1924 that the day be observed by the nation, but stopped short of issuing a national proclamation. Two earlier attempts to formally recognize the holiday have been defeated by Congress. In 1957, Maine Senator Margaret Chase Smith wrote a proposal accusing Congress of ignoring fathers for 40 years while honoring mothers, thus singling out just one or two parents. In 1966, President Lyndon B. Johnson issued the first presidential proclamation honoring fathers, designating the third Sunday in June as Father's Day. 6 years later, the day was made a permanent national holiday when President Richard Nixon signed it into a law April 24, 1972. In addition to Father's Day, International Men's Day is celebrated in many countries on November 19th for men and boys who are not fathers. A Father's Day service was held on July 5, 1908 in Fairmount, West Virginia, in the Williams Memorial Methodist Church South, now known as Central United Methodist Church. Grace Golden Clayton was mourning the loss of her father, who died on December 6, 1907, in the Monongah mining disaster, and nearby Monongah killed 361 men, 250 of them fathers, leaving around 1,000 fatherless children. Clayton suggested to her pastor, Robert Thompson Webb, that he should honor all those fathers. Clayton chose the Sunday nearest to the birthday of her father, Methodist minister Fletcher Golden. So Clayton's event did not have repercussions outside of Fairmont for several reasons. Among them, the city was overwhelmed by other events, and the celebration was never promoted outside the town itself, and no proclamation was made in city council. Also, two events overshadowed this day: the celebration of Independence Day, July 4th, 1908, with 12,000 attendees, several shows, including a hot air balloon event, which took over the headlines the following days, and the death of the 16-year-old girl on July 4th. The local church council was overwhelmed and did not even think of promoting the event. So Clayton also has been inspired by Anna Jarvis, crusaded established Mother's Day 2 months prior. Jarvis had held a celebration for her dead mother in Grafton, West Virginia. In 1911, Jane Addams proposed a citywide Father's Day in Chicago, but she was turned down. In 1912, there was a Father's Day celebration in Vancouver and Washington, suggested by Methodist pastor J.J. Barrington and Irvington Methodist Church, that believed mistakenly that they had been the first to celebrate such the day. So I will say this. Unfortunately for fathers, even to this day, there's a running joke that restaurants aren't as packed like they are on Mother's Day, and they're not. And that Father's Day don't get the love that Mother's Day does get. And that is a little bit disheartening. But I feel like for the fathers who don't feel the love that they give to others on Father's Day, I think it's only befitting that they are treated like the kings that they are. And you just show your love and appreciation. It's one day, but I think it's awesome for the people in a dad's life to just be selfless on that day and treat that man with the love and respect that he deserves, especially if he is doing all the things that a dad does. And I think the biggest thing as women sometimes we look over is when you get caught up in the minutia of all the things that life has to give. And as a mom, you probably feel like you're doing way more around the house or way more with the kids than your husband is. And oftentimes we just feel like, we do way more than the dads do. And in some cases that might be true, but there are the things that are unseen that the dad does, i.e., get up, go to work, pay the mortgage, pay the rent, provide safety, protection, keep everyone safe. His mere presence of being there, as a woman, when you have a man in the house, you don't really have to worry about outsiders coming in to hurt and attack you and your children, because you're under a covering, you're under a man's covering. So I believe that as women, we sometimes feel like, fuck, it is my day, it is Father's Day, is for me. It's not, sweetheart. I promise you it's not. And for a child, their father just being there, as long as it's not in a toxic situation, you're not being toxic to him, he's not being toxic to you, again. But in a household where there is love and the dad's presence is there, does more for that child's self-esteem that people even care to realize. I remember growing up in the 80s and in elementary, I remember everybody's parents were married. And probably around, I want to say second or third grade, it was second grade, there was one child in particular, and I remember her parents got divorced and she was hurt. So you figure second grade, you're 7 years old, possibly going on 8. She cried every day. And it was probably, obviously we're kids, but I feel like it was a good short while and her mom had a new stepdad in her life. As a kid, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, oh wow, she's got a new dad. She was happy. The stepdad was a nice guy, it seemed like. I remember he went on a couple of field trips with us, and her mom seemed happy. I don't know the reason. Obviously, they got divorced. I was 7. They didn't share that with children. But I just remember the girl was sad. And she was probably the first kid I knew that was divorced. I remember there was a time I was 8 years old, my 3rd grade year, my parents separated for a year. And that was really, really hard on me. Although I saw my father every day because nothing really changed for me other than where I lived. And my mother, I remember she gave me the option. She said, do you want to come live with me or do you want to stay here with your dad and your brothers? And I chose my mom, of course, because it's my mom. But I got to see my dad every day still, every single day. And my dad never talked mess about my mom. My mom never talked mess about my dad. So whatever they were going through amongst them. Maybe, as I've grown and I look back on certain things, I understood what it was about. But my parents never pitted me against one another. And I thank them for that. And maybe that's where I got the know-how to not do that to my ex-husband with my kids. So you see, you be teaching your kids stuff, whether you realize it or not. You can teach them good or you can teach them bad. And it is oftentimes do as I say, not what I do. But we know that kids tend to do what you do. And thankfully, I was shown that, because I still to this day don't behave that way. And it just is what it is. So yeah, you want to give your kids a sense of comfort and knowing that both parents are still in the house, because it just really does a lot for their self-esteem, whether in the moment you realize it or not. But you have to understand, happiness is fleeting, and you may not be happy today with the person you married and had children with, or even just had children with, even if you're not married to them, but that's still their dad. and he's still a rock star, especially if he's showing up every day dealing with your punk ass. And, and we're human. And I think oftentimes we feel like just because somebody's getting on our nerves, we're literally God's chosen one and we're being angels. When we're not. I think when you live with someone or you have an intimate relationship with someone, that results in children. You just think everything you do is perfect, then the other person is wrong all day long. That's just part of our ego and our spirit, and you have to check that shit. But if you have a man showing up every day, when your kids call him, he's there, he's responsive, you should be thankful for that. And nonetheless, even to the men who aren't there daily, but gave you that child and you love that child, fuck, happy Father's Day, motherfucker. I mean, I don't like you at all, but thank you for my child. And I appreciate that. And I know if you had the good common sense God gave you and you used it every day, you'd want to be the man you wish you had growing up. But nonetheless, happy Father's Day to you, because you gave me the best gift of all. You gave me our girls. So with that being said, let's do some Father's Day facts. So average age of first-time fathers is 30. Okay. Roses are the official flower of Father's Day. Red rose for living fathers and white rose for fathers who have passed away. Okay. So also 29 million fathers in the U.S. are grandfathers. The male seahorse carries the eggs and births the babies. Okay, well, that's awesome. I don't know why God did that, but cool. Ties are our most popular Father's Day gift. That is very true. I remember getting my dad a tie. I've made some pretty awesome Father's Day gifts. I would love to know where Marilyn put them. But, she likes to throw shit away. And she gets mad when you tell her don't touch stuff. But there's one gift in particular, I wish I knew where it was. And I have a feeling she threw it away that I wish I could take in with me. That's neither here nor there. Back to dads. Okay, the word dad is believed to come from baby talk. Cards are the most popular item given. In Catholic countries, Father's Day is celebrated on St. Joseph Day, a day of celebration of Jesus, Father. Okay. And Father's Day, okay, so we know that. We know when it was celebrated, June 19th, 1910. It is estimated that around 72 million cards are sent on Father's Day. Wow, okay. So that's some good fun facts. Okay, let's see some other fun facts. There are 1.5 billion fathers worldwide. 66.3 million of those fathers are in the United States. Father's Day is the 5th largest card sending occasion in America, with almost 100 million Father's Day cards sent each year. Only 50% of Father's Day cards are purchased for dads. Okay, here's some other fun facts about Father's Day. Following are 5 insights into fatherhood recently uncovered through research by Reiling and others. Fathers can get postpartum depression. Who knew? Maternal love hormone also affects fathers. Lower testosterone is linked to hands-on nurturing. Oh, okay. I just want to know, what is toxic masculinity? And since it's Father's Day, let's take a deep dive into toxic masculinity. I'd like to know what that is, because I hear it all the time. And before I trash that statement, I just want to know what it is. Okay, so I went to our best friend Google and I typed in toxic masculinity. So it says, toxic masculinity refers to harmful social norms about how men should behave, often leading to negative consequences for men, women, and society as a whole. These norms often include expectations that men be tough, aggressive, and emotionally repressed, and that women are subordinate and objectified. That's interesting. Key characteristics: emotional suppression. Men are expected to suppress their emotions, particularly sadness, fear, and vulnerability, and to man up, quote unquote, in the face of distress. Now, I will say this. I don't believe anybody should repress their emotions. And you saw a lot of that in the, before the 2000s. So being raised with a dad, I think where this comes from is when you are raised with parents from the silent generation, when you're raised with boomers, and when you were raised with the Gen X generation, a boy crying was not it. Like, especially if it was over, you fell, you hurt yourself, like the he would have to get shot, or he would have to get drugged and ran over by a car to justify crying. But simply just crying just to cry, it would be like, hush that crying up. Now, I will say this: don't nobody want to hear a baby cry over nonsense. Like, use your words. So all that crying and shit for nothing because you just won't use your words when you can, don't nobody want to hear that. But I think as we have evolved as society, men and women understood and know, and you have men who say this: I was told not to cry growing up, and it could have been over something major. So I think those same millennials and zillennials, and even some Gen Zs, depending on how they were raised and who they were raised by, obviously Gen X, boomers, and the silent generation, we allow our children to express themselves emotionally and express themselves from a way, especially young boys, saying, it's okay, we can talk about it, so that they don't think that they're being mistreated for having vulnerability and for sharing their feelings. I think the best thing to do as a parent, if you are raising young boys, I don't have any, so I don't know, but you allow your child to state their feelings. How do you feel? But also, you want to teach stoicism to your young son. Be learning to be stoic. Not saying you can't express your feelings, but men definitely should not be emotional. And for you same women out there who don't like men behaving as women, if you're a single mom or you run the household and you have a husband, but you are teaching your son to be emotional and allowing him to have temper tantrums and fly off of the broom and lead with his emotions, you are raising the very men that you don't want to date. And nobody wants an emotional male at all, because we know as women, we're emotional and we don't make the best sound choices when we're emotional. And it could just be based off the strength of our period, and we're saying some whack crazy shit. That's just food for thought, my opinion. Again, like I said, I don't have sons, I have a bunch of daughters, and I don't want them married to emotional men, because that will drive them insane. I want them married to men who are definitely leaders. I want them married to stoic men that they know when the time is right, I can express my emotions and I can explain to my wife how I feel without him now being a bitch. Nobody wants that. And no woman wants that. So this whole toxic masculinity situation, I think what we're doing here is just wanting men to not be men, but then getting mad when you're dating a man and he's acting like you. What did Kendrick Lamar say? You fucking with niggas who think they're cuter than you. Oh, you on your period, but he on his period too. Yeah. Let's maybe find a new word or phrase for toxic masculinity, because what I've read just doesn't match. But let's get back to the statistics and what they're stating on the 5 facts when it comes to parenting. So fathers' rough and tumble play aids development. The rough and tumble play that fathers tend to specialize in is good for children. Riling says it helps them learn to regulate their emotions and also develop empathy. You need to read the social signals of the person you're roughhousing to make sure you don't go too far, he says. I think that that's cool. That's awesome. I think, dads, you all don't get enough credit to who you all are. I think if you have a woman in your life, a wife in your life, a mother in your life, that praises you and builds your self-esteem, you definitely should be thankful and grateful, because I will say this. It is pretty interesting. When I first met my husband and I treated him with such reverence in a way and let him know he will always be cared for and loved for every day of the year, not just on Father's Day. He had never experienced that before. Granted, he has a mom, and my mother-in-law is awesome to her son, and he knows that. And she gave him, I believe, the best gift of all, which she filled him with self-esteem and loved on him properly. So after my husband dealt with the trash that he dealt with, And then, of course, here comes this golden diamond. You know, he was like, there aren't many women like you. I ain't never met one. I'm like, oh, you're welcome. Toot, toot. So what I'm going to do is I want to talk to my brothers and ask them about their experience with fatherhood and just overall being a man, and do they feel appreciated. I am doing a Father's Day episode for my podcast, and I just want to ask you, if you got a few minutes to spare, how do you feel about fatherhood? Like, how does it make you feel? Do you feel respected as a dad? Do you feel like as a father you've done what you should do or have done? Or like, I guess if you compare yourself to dad.
I think I did better than expected.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah, I'm not as good as my dad, but I try to keep it right. I use him as a measuring stick.
Okay. Do you also feel like with fatherhood, how can I say, do you ever think, like, when you look back on, raising, your kids and everything you've done, especially as a grandfather, do you pat yourself on the back like, you know what? I think I kind of did exactly what my dad would want me to do? Or do you feel like, while I didn't know, like, I guess, let me back it up. I apologize. I guess when we look back to our childhood and how things were, and then now here you are, you're a dad and you're a granddad. Did you ever foresee this? Did you ever want kids?
I've always wanted kids, but I never foreseen it the way it is now. I mean, I have 18 grandchildren.
Shit. Are you serious?
They're close to it. I got a couple I counted. A-Rock's 2 kids and
I'm talking about biological.
Biological, I got 14, 15 count me.
Jeez Louise, that is a lot of effing grandkids. And how old are you?
It's 14 on this wall. Who's missing? It's 14 on this wall. Levi's missing, so 15.
Jeez. How old are you, like 65?
And I got 2 great-grands.
That's right. You have 2 great-greats.
So I got 17 altogether.
Wow. What do you
so,
like?
Yeah, I think I overwhelmed myself.
Yeah.
It's funny right now because it's totally off the subject.
I mean, you know what? I guess from that perspective, you, even on Father's Day weekend, you are still being a dad. So I want to ask you, I want to, what'd you say?
I don't think I need my peace sometime.
Oh my goodness.
Because you don't know what happened while you've been going, so after you finish recording me, then I'll tell you.
Okay. Well, I want to have one more thing to ask you. Okay. If you now could go back and tell 17-year-old you about life now, or without changing, like, this is not so you could change the course, like, this is, you're going back in time, you're talking to 17, 18-year-old you, with the knowledge you have now, is there any words of wisdom you would give young Darren regarding how life is going to be? Is there anything you would say to you?
Well, yeah, actually, but some actually told my granddaughter this morning, and it's that knowledge is the most important thing. Knowledge itself is the most important thing in life. And if you have knowledge yourself, then you won't struggle during life. You won't struggle coming up in life. So I think I would have got more education. I would have been more, how to have my mind stayed on being educated.
Okay. Okay.
More. So.
What are some words of wisdom you would give young you? Like, if you could have a 5-minute conversation with 17-year-old you, 18-year-old you, what would you tell them? But it's not going to change the course of anything, but what words of encouragement would you give younger you?
To finish everything that I start.
Okay. All right. All righty. Well, I love you, and I'm thankful that you answered the phone, because it was mom calling and it was really me. So all right, I'm gonna pause this so we could chat. Yeah, like like an episode for Father's Day on my podcast.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you have 5 minutes?
5 minutes to talk?
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Okay, all right. So I called Darren before I called you, and so on this episode for me with Father's Day, I guess because you are a dad, I wanted to ask you, when you think about dad and how he raised us and how he raised you, and then you think about how you are as a father, are there things that you're like, well, like, how do you feel? Like, definitely, how do you feel as a dad and as a husband, and from what you were taught by dad, or things that you just kind of picked up? How does that make you feel as a father? Yeah, like, how do you, being raised by the father that we were raised with, does that, when you think about how you're raising your kids, are you kind of like, I'm glad I had the dad that I had, or, like, there are some things I could tweak here and there, like, when it comes to being a father?
Yeah, well, I glad I was raised by him. I like the wisdom that he flows on this group.
Okay.
The stories he told us, things, teach us how to connect the dots and all that stuff,
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Now, did you ever think, like, at one point in time, like, are you happy about being a dad? Did you want to be a dad?
Oh, yeah, I want to be a dad. I always wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
I wanted to have when I was very young.
Yeah. Did you think you'd have 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son?
I never knew what I was going to have. I could not imagine. I had wanted girls when I first saw it, but I couldn't imagine.
Well, I have one more question for you.
I'm very glad that I had son first.
Yeah. I mean, with you being a junior, did you were like, for sure, I want to have a third? Like, I want to carry on my dad's name.
Well, I didn't really think about it because I wasn't like, I didn't think in terms of carrying on the name. I wasn't thinking like that. I was simply thinking about just having a family and raising a family. I didn't look at it in terms of, building a heritage or, advancing the family name. I didn't look at it through those lenses. I looked at it just having a loving family. That's all I really ever wanted.
Okay. So then when Latricia was pregnant with Trey, and I mean, did you guys know right away it was going to be a boy, or when she had him, it was a surprise?
It was a surprise. Trey was a surprise.
Okay, so when it was a boy, like you could be honest.
Darren was surprised quite as a kid, too.
Well, I mean the gender.
Yeah.
Well, when
Trey came out of Latricia, she said, "It's a boy, it's a boy." But we didn't have the. We wanted to be surprised.
Okay.
So we didn't get anything. What do they call it? Sonograph?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get that with Trey or Kira. We got it with Lana. That's when Kira started crying because it was a girl. She wanted to be a girl.
Oh, look at her now. She has a sister, best friend for life.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Well, when you had Trey, immediately, like, once you realized, like, oh shit, I have a son, like, this is a boy, were you like, definitely Felix Jolivet the third?
Well, I wanted to name something different because I didn't really like one of the name Felix. I thought Felix was a odd type name. It had nothing to do with not being named after my father, just like that. I want to have a name like Lance. That was a cool name that I thought was cool.
Okay.
As I got older, though, I liked the name, but I wanted to name Trey. One, I remember telling Ann when Charlie passed away. I told Ann, I said that if I have a boy, I said I'm going to name Charlie. And so I'm thinking on both sides. Trey's grandfather's name was Charles as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking more of a name like that, but Teresa insisted on it.
Wow.
She insisted. Yeah.
Thank God for Latricia. Yeah. Okay.
I like St. Charles.
No, I think it's nice, but I'm old school. I definitely think a firstborn son should always be named after his father. But I noticed
you go through different iterations. Like you got the first, you got the second. I think that's probably enough.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess to each its own. Like, it depends on you know, what both parents want or how they feel. But I mean, I granted, you know, fast forward, I don't think a lot of kids are doing that now, you know, so.
Yeah, well, Trey was talking about his fourth.
Yeah.
Called him
Quanto.
Quanto, like more in Spanish, you know, Quanto.
Yeah, I know. Or we could just call him Q.
Q would be cool.
I like that. Yeah.
Quanto is with a C though, right?
No, it's with a Q. Cuatro. Cuatro. Yeah. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. So.
Q is like a really good nickname. But yeah, you know, so I thought about those things, you know, really just one of the family myself.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you right now could go back and talk to 25-year-old you, but you can't change anything, you can't rewrite history, anything like that, but you could go back. How old are you, like 70 now?
70?
I'm joking with you, I'm joking. I know you're like 65. I know. I'm teasing you. If 62-year-old you could go back and talk to 25-year-old you, but you can't change the course of your history, but you could maybe offer some words of wisdom to 25-year-old you, what would you say to 25-year-old you, knowing the life that you've lived?
Well, one thing I would say is, you know, you should have been more serious about wealth building. You know, and because there's some things that, and I kept working Keith and them, you know, all of us should have got together. Me, Keith, and Mark definitely should have got together and took equity out of our house, bought some more homes, and we could have been rolling in the city, you know, but it just didn't work out that way. You know, and I was probably more the guy that's going to be a little more safer anyway, you know, but I probably want to focus on those type of things, you know, getting your insurance down, getting your insurance with your pension. But I didn't know about those things either, but I had to know about those. You know, invest, like start investing in like mutual funds.
Yeah.
You know, and I would focus on things like building wealth. You know, I did get a house, I wanted a house. It got maybe a little bit later than I wanted, you know, but we came up at a time where houses were starting to come to the point where just young men just really couldn't own a house, like talking about it. Because my day, when I drive through Covina, they want like $130,000 for a house. To me, that was like a lot. It's just moved to the phone company. I'm going to be able to afford that.
So you would tell 25-year-old you to be focused and serious?
Yeah, focus and serious about you know, one about wealth building. You know, and you know, getting things in order, you know, so that you can have the things you need to facilitate family life.
Okay.
You know,
all right. Well, I just want to tell you thank you. I appreciate you, and you've been an awesome big brother. What happened now?
You don't have me on tape.
I do. That's what I said to you when we first called, but you know, it's cool, man. Don't worry, I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna clean it up. Don't trip, Crip. I got you. Anywho, well, I love you and I appreciate you.
All right.
Happy Father's Day. All right. Bye. Oh my goodness. So clearly none of the men in my family listen, you know, but that's cool. All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm calling from my mom's phone because I haven't quite figured out and being savvy with this tech stuff. So I'm recording you. So now you know, because I told Nunu and Darren, but clearly they weren't paying attention. So I want to clean up their part. But I'm doing an episode on Father's Day, husband. And I wanted to ask you a few questions. And you just answer however you want to answer, like you and I are just casually talking. And the conversation is regarding Father's Day. So, Avi, you have 2 kids. But I kind of want to ask you from a perspective of a stepdad's perspective, bonus dad's perspective. Did you ever think in a million years that as long as you were alive, that you'd be a stepdad? Like, was it even on your radar, especially to 4 daughters?
first, I'm just going to give you the really caught me off guard with this one.
Oh, okay.
Because here I am packing. Surprise! But,
I'm sorry, I'll let you get back to packing soon.
No, I know. I don't know. I guess honestly, no, I never thought about any of that stuff because, I'm a male and we don't grow up watching Disney movies. I guess in that perspective. So, definitely not for daughters, but something I realized early on in life is that regardless my kids or any kids I come in contact with, like, they always like me, which I always found that very, very interesting. So.
Okay. So here I come, we meet, and I tell you 4 kids. Immediately, what was your first thought?
Well, God, your memory's better than mine. I think I asked you how old they were, though. That does matter to an extent, I guess, with a male perspective. But I mean, they were older. I mean, they weren't like, because the dynamic would be completely different if they were like 5, 4, 3, 2 or something, as opposed to being in middle school.
Right. Right. Right.
But I guess getting to with the meat and potatoes of it, did it like really scare me off? Like, no, it didn't, because I mean, like I told you in the very beginning, like you had wife written all over you, so.
Trying to butter me up for a good time. You got it.
That's what I do.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So now I don't know if you can remember, but you met the girls. Well, you met Angel. Now,
that was classic.
When you met Angel, just based off of what she said to you alone, but did you ever think to yourself like, wow, okay, this kid seems intelligent, or wow, she raised a pretty decent kid in the few moments that you and Angel got a chance to have a conversation? Or did you base your conversation off of Angel? Did you kind of base it on like, I wonder how the other girls are going to be?
I mean, looking back, I think that happened. I think everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. I met Angel first. She's the oldest. She's the firstborn. And then, of course, we joke about it now because she said, oh, so why do you, I'm going to mess it up, but it was basically along the lines of like, why do you like my mom, or something to that extent, like all kids would ask any new person dating their parent. Of course, I answered honestly, but that said a lot about you because, I mean, of course, she doesn't want any random person dating her mom and wasting her mom's time. Because, I mean, you told me from day one, just like I'm pretty sure she was thinking as well. She wanted something for the long term, something that would manifest into a marriage. So, yeah, she definitely had your best interests.
Okay.
And, that always stayed with me because even after that, and then as our relationship began to, blossom and what it was, she told me, and she was the very first one, she said, hey, when you are ready to propose to my mom, please FaceTime me. And I did. Or let her know, rather. That's what she said.
Aw, look at that. Okay, so with that being said, after meeting Angel, obviously you met all the girls, were at the Cheesecake Factory, and, leading up to that point, you and I spoke on the phone, and then the girls and stuff would be in the background. Do you, I guess after meeting them face to face, and I guess growing a relationship and cultivating one with them, where it is now versus where everything started out based on every kid, I guess my question to be to you, like, I guess, did you ever, trying to figure out how I could word this, based off of Angel and then getting to know the girls and where we are at now, how does that make you feel as a stepdad, as a dad in general?
So how does being a stepdad make me feel? Or?
Yeah, like, I guess kind of understanding like how we started when it came to the girls, and dealing with the different personalities, and trying to cultivate relationships with everyone. Some were easier than, I feel like Angel and Ashana were easy breezy for you because they were just, even Ashanti possibly. We know Aubrey was a bit of a pill, but that's another story for another day. But, you know, I guess when you think about upon us first meeting and then where we're at now, did you ever foresee that? Because I don't know, have you ever heard of any monster step parent stories or anything?
I mean, of course, we all heard of the monster step parent stories and what we see on social media and how, yeah, like, so, you know, if a stepfather or potential stepfather boyfriend ever comes in and, you know, that woman typically wants to use the resources, but yet he has no authority over the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a red flag in itself. But even if I wind everything back from the very, very beginning to day one, because remember, I mean, that was something that was agreed upon between you and I about meeting the girls, right? Because everyone wasn't afforded an opportunity, nor did everybody want to do that. I'm not saying everybody like you just talk to a whole village. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I told you, I think in the very beginning, I told you it's a package deal like rims and tires. So I was accepting of it from day one. I just knew the day would come when I would have to actually meet them. And yes, like you said, the relationships were, I guess it was, yeah. I mean, aside from Aubrey, because you know that was the one we had to ice skate uphill. But we're all in a good place now. Yeah, I think all of the other relationships were pretty good. Like it was just took time, like everything else, to build any type of relationship and that bond, especially in this type of situation too.
Yeah. Do you now? Let me ask you another question. If you knew any men who were like in a situation seemingly like ours, they have kids of their own or whatever, but they are embarking on dating again and being maybe a potential stepdad, is there any advice you would give to that man? Like, hey, this is what worked for me. This, you know, is there anything you would say to a man who, or, you know, or would you deter them from it?
No, I wouldn't deter because I think with you, I can give you your flowers every day. Like you are definitely the exception, you know, not the rule. Because that's already a deterrence. You know, if you meet a single mom, she has like multiple kids, probably don't want to get involved in that. But I think once you get to know the actual person, and if y'all are aligned, like I feel like we were. But of course, the funny thing is, I had to get on your program because you already knew what you wanted. I just had to, I guess, follow the yellow brick road to figure everything out. But
it's okay. You wanted it too. You just didn't know.
Yeah, I know. As far as advice, I mean, long as you guys are upfront about what you want from day one, and just, I mean, no one should be judged off their preferences. Like, hey, it ain't for the weak. Like, if a single parent or multiple kids or whatever the case may be. But I will say this: like, if you are a male without kids, you probably shouldn't date a female with multiple kids. I could probably see one, but for the most part, no, you probably should stay away. Well, at least this situation, you know.
Yeah.
Like if I had no kids and then I met you, that's probably not a good idea.
I agree. Again, yeah, I agree.
But again, the situation dictates that though, because there's always some type of exception out there. But just being honest up front in what you want, what you don't want. I just think if people can do that, be genuine with it, I think really shouldn't have any issues.
Okay. Well, here's one last question, and I'll let you get back to packing because I love you so much. And I want to tell you early Happy Father's Day, which, I mean, I guess realistically, let me rephrase that. I want to tell you Happy Father's Day. And I truly appreciate the man that you are, the husband you are, the dad that you are, because what you've given to my girls, whether you realize it or not, is hope and have opened their eyes to what it does look like when everybody literally is on the same page, same time, and moving in congruence with one another for the better outcome of a family. So I truly appreciate you beyond words. There aren't enough words, and love is not a strong enough word to let you know how much you mean to me and to them. So happy Father's Day. And I hope that after everything is said and done, you know that I've always strived to give you an experience that is nothing but blissful and joy and peace. So, yeah, make me cry.
Yeah, and you do that every day without even trying. So
I love you.
So that's why when you say what I want for Father's Day, and I always, probably it's not appeasing to your ears, but I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't really matter because you treat it like that every day. So it's just a day that someone decided, hey, let's put this on the calendar and let's celebrate it, when I get that every day, so it doesn't really matter to me.
I love you.
But thank you, though.
You are more than welcome. Well, okay, so one last question. And I asked Darren and Nunu this, and they got it totally wrong, but I love them. They're older. But so you're 50 years old. What would 50-year-old you say to young version of you? Like, what would you, as now, because you are 50, right? And so what would you say to
jokes. Ladies and gentlemen, she has jokes.
Yeah, teasing you. I did it to Nunu. I was like, what was 70-year-old you? He was like, what? 70? Like, chill, fam. Okay, so I'm joking.
45.
Yes. And you look fucking good. You definitely don't look 45. But what would 45-year-olds say to 25-year-old you? Now, here's the thing. This is what I told Nunu and Darren, and they didn't quite pick it. Get up. They didn't understand it. You can't change the course of history. So what would 45-year-old you say to 25-year-old you, knowing you can't change the course of history, but what are some words of encouragement you would give young Ken? What would you say to him about life and being a dad and what that looks like and what his life would be like? What would you say to him to give him hope?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Just about life in general, or
just about being a father? Like, if you could go back and talk to you, like, for instance, for me, 43, almost 44-year-old me.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. I think when it comes to fatherhood, I think the best thing that I would probably say is not to have kids out of wedlock.
But you can't change the course of history. You can't. So, and maybe I'm not expressing. Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
So you said 20-year-old me.
No.
20-year-old me didn't have any kids.
No, 25-year-old you. I said 25-year-old you. It's okay. So let me pose the question to you like I would pose it to myself. And maybe it's me helping y'all misunderstand the question. So if I could talk to, at 43-year-old me, if I could talk to 21-year-old Ariane, I can't change the course of history, but I could just offer you some words of hope, encouragement, and future, of wisdom. I would say to 21-year-old me, hey, guess what? You're going to go through some things, but in that going through, in those trials and tribulations, I want you to know you're stronger than you think you are. And it's okay. You're about to royally fuck this up because you're hard-headed, but it's okay. I promise you're going to come out on the other side as a winner. That's what I would say to me. Do you get it now?
Yes.
Okay.
I get it.
All right.
But it's still, that's something I would have to truly think about. But
okay.
I could honestly piggyback off of what you just said, because that essentially is probably what I would say, something along the same lines of that.
Okay.
Because life is a school you never graduate from, so just have to be a lifelong learner and just try to continuously, I guess I would more so say, at least get 10% better every day.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, my beloved, I'm going to go talk to Dondi now. I'm going to clean this up and it's going to be nice and neat. And
Okay.
yeah, I would hope you wouldn't want me to have you sign a waiver because we're married and whatnot. But you know, if when I make money from this, I got you. Like it's nothing. I'll trick on my man. Like it's nothing. I'm gonna
Yeah, I
cater
know.
to you all day long. You got it.
I know.
Ralph Lauren from your eyes to here to there. You got this.
Talk about it. That's about to be fun.
Oh, Dondi. Yeah, I'm gonna go start cooking. So, but I love you.
All right, I love you too. Thank you for that shock and all that surprise.
I mean, it's the least I could do.
Yeah, this will be a good episode. I'm looking forward to listening to it.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. All right. I love you.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later. All right. Bye. All right. So I asked Nunu and I asked Darren their ideas and everything on Father's Day. But I guess what I ask you is you only have one child. So did you, based on how Dad raised us and everything that we know growing up and being with our parents, did you ever foresee this for yourself as far as being a dad, only having one kid? Did you think you'd have more? Like, did you think you would be a dad? And based on how you were raised, do you see any parallelities, like how you're raising Isla close to how you were raised, possibly? It's too many questions in one. I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I see a lot of my father in the way I raised my daughter. You know, he's a good storyteller. You know, so he tried to like explain the world to us. You know, through stories and metaphors, and similes. You know, and examples. You know, and you know, through the lens of his life experience. I do the same with Isla.
Okay.
You know? And then for Father's Day, I just like hanging with my daughter. You know, big cup of ice cream or something. Watching cartoons. You know, chilling.
Did you ever think you'd only have one child, or did you ever think you'd be a dad?
I was getting scared there for a minute. I'm I'm an older father, but yeah. So, you know, I was losing hope there for a minute, but finally, God gave me one. So yeah, I always wanted to be a father. So
okay,
all right.
Did you want more than one?
Yeah, I might have more than one. You know, never know.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. Well, one last question. How old are you now? 55?
Yeah.
You're 55?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
52.
Okay. I was just checking to make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would 52-year-olds say to younger Dondi at 25? But here's the thing. You can't change the course of history. So this is not like you could go back in time, tell you what to do next so life would have a different outcome. But what would everything that you know now, what would 52-year-old you go back and say to 25-year-old you, and from a perspective of, I can't change the course of history, but let me just leave you with these words of wisdom as you grow in age and you know, come upon life and trials and tribulations.
Yeah, that's easy. Erect appropriate boundaries.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, so I wanted to talk to all of my brothers, of course, on Father's Day, and just kind of get their perspective, you know, as being a dad's. And, you know, they were taught by the best, my dad. And I will say, I know I can see my father in all of my brothers, even in my nephews, and it is wild. So I am so thankful and grateful and blessed to have that. And, you know, I wanted to deliver Ken his gift. So I am in Bama right now. And I know we are, a few days out after Father's Day. So, you know, wrapping this episode up. But we are currently driving to our future home. And by future, I mean tomorrow, June 19th. So I just want to, you know, thank everyone for listening. And yes, I am driving and recording and following behind my husband. So, but I pray that everyone under the sound of my voice is great and is blessed and had a beautiful Father's Day. And for everyone listening, if you celebrate a father who is in heaven, you know what? It's like, how can I say? I don't know. It's just, you hold on to the things that you had with your dad. And if you have children and they knew your dad, you just let those memories still live. And yeah, so I bid you all adieu. And I love you with the love of God. And I pray everyone has a great and glorious week. Bye-bye.